turkey might be wild too.
I kind of lost my rhythm here. Come on.
Okay, so you're going.
I'm trying to find this joint right here.
Is that the hip joint?
This, yeah, it's where and now I've got the back.
Okay, so you're getting rid of the back first. That's the main.
Now I've got this. I'm going to lay this out. You see this? You see that right here? I already broke this side right here. You just run your knife right along the top there. Cut this out.
And you used to do this in 20 seconds?
Yeah, well, with this much smaller bird, and this, you know, usually this is the wishbone, breaks right off.
And then you make a wish after you break it.
Yeah, and then this meat, all this meat, we go into a roasting pan. You stick in the oven, you roast it off, then you clean off the meat, what you can salvage. This stuff goes into chicken salad. Then the bone and the skin goes into your broth. And I'm going to break that cartilage there. You pop this open like that. Run your hands down both sides. And you pull this bone and cartilage right out. Goes in the roasting pan. You never want to throw raw poultry into your stock. It'll make it sour. And especially if you have a stock, usually in the kitchen you always have a stock pot that's working. And there's this big ass kettle that has a spigot on the bottom. So whenever you need broth, you turn it on and you get this good broth off the bottom. If you ever throw raw material in there, raw meat, you're going to sour the whole stock. You can make everybody sick. You always roast your bones and stuff before you add them.
You eat that bone or no?
What?
No, that's cartilage.
No, this is cartilage. But you cook it and use it in broth because there's a lot of flavor in that. Yeah. Then you take your boning knife, you go under these ribs, and see how I have the blade turned up so I don't cut into the meat. And you follow that bone down the joint.
That's how they eat chicken.
Yeah, this is the other side of the. Again, that would, you know, you roast that, you do the other side. Always turn your knife up so you're cutting away from the meat. You just kind of find which one on a game hen it goes. It's because it's so much smaller. The bones are so much smaller. These wishbone things pretty much just pull right out when you do this. You don't have to go in and dig for them. And I always feel for extra shrapnel. Worst thing you can do is say it's a deboned thing, and then people bite into it, and there's a little shrapnel bone that gets stuck in their teeth or their gums, or they choke on it.
Yeah.
You know, so you always got to just press on, feel it. Then, like if I wanted to make this fancy, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this off. But you know, with this large of a bird, you could probably leave these tips on. The reason why I cut them off with game hens is because they burn, look nasty, start stinking in the oven. They're so small. Again, you just find the bone, you cut right through that joint.
So what do you suppose the easiest way to learn how to do this?
Practice, practice.
Okay. Practice on raw or practice on?
Practice on raw. If you know, if this is something, you know, now if for what you guys, what I would do now if I were going to like stuff this and serve it as a boneless bird is I would find these joints right here. I would cut them, take the back of my knife, and just hit this, break that bone, and pop it out. Now, you guys are you're gonna do that soup thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you gotta demonstrate your knife skills. I would get the bird to this point. Then you could just start cutting it up, so so you already got, so you can just easily cut this. And there's easier ways to butcher. This is just my thought on this, is if you debone this like this, you're gonna show some skill that a lot of the other kids won't know about. Not every, I worked with at the Madison Club, I worked with a chef who was trained in Paris and worked in the New York Culinary Institute. Very high credential. He did not know how to bone out a bird like this, so you could stuff it and make it look like, this is a skill not a lot of people carry around with them.